got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple hours, or maybe less today, along with Katie.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't know what happened to the rest of the guys, but must be important if they're not here. Well, I know
I
God is still in Israel.
to apologize to our listeners because it's all going to
No,
come
no,
down to
no.
me to hold the fort.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Another week
Yep.
gone
Another week.
by.
Yeah. I'm
And
excited for the pollen to go away.
it's getting like winter again outside. It was
Yeah, my sister lives in Maine, and she got like I don't know 10 inches or whatever. It just kept snowing this week.
ouch. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I like it. I like the colder weather.
To a
Well,
point. To a
to a
point.
point. Yeah. And the reason why I like it now is because I want to keep the mosquitoes away. So the longer we can keep them out, because I like it when it gets cold at night, but it's like warm during the day. That's perfect.
Yeah. It's it's it, it's fine. I mean, we need a balance. But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I thought that's it. Summer's here. We didn't even have spring.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
springy. So I was talking
Uh,
about yesterday. I was doing some R&D work. I've got I was working. Oh, you can't even really see it. So I was working on a new fidget toy. I don't know if I talked about it on the show. I don't
yeah,
think I did.
you
Or did I?
yeah, you
Oh, I
showed
did.
last week. You showed us what it
Yeah.
was.
So
One. It was no. You when we ended the show, you had the four.
yeah, so there is a four, but I yesterday I was working on optimizing the design, to where you can't easily pull out these little switches. These I think this one's fine. Or oh yeah, this one's the old one. You can't see it on screen, but it comes out too easy. But I still want people to be able to switch them out. The switches. Ayo. But then also too,
Wait.
what?
What do you mean switch them? Switch from what to what?
Well, so these switches, I'm gonna hold this up to my mic. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear the clicky?
No, but I take your word for it.
Okay, so these are clicky, and
Right.
not and but these are silent. So they make different switches for the keyboards, and they have different
Okay.
tactile
So
responses and noises or whatever. So I'm designing the base, the switch base, and it's got 4 empty slots, where you could put the switches in.
okay.
Um, and so I was messing with the tolerance. Oh, my cat wants attention. Oh well. And anyways, I was doing that yesterday. But then I also printed out this dude, and it's a paper towel holder for an umbrella stand. So like if the umbrellas that are in the middle of the tables,
Uh-huh.
um
Oh.
yeah, you this comes out, and so you hook the umbrella, put it right there, or wrap it around the pole, and then put the paper towel right here, and so it squeezes it. So
Uh-huh.
you can have paper towels with the umbrella thing. I didn't design
Katie.
this. I didn't design it. I found it online. I just printed it. So it was
That's neat though. Yeah.
yeah. I can't take credit for this, but I printed it for my dad. Uh, Trying to get some lawn outdoor stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's what I was messing with yesterday. Yesterday was in the morning was 3D printing, R&Ding, and my cat is freaking out.
The-
He's like, "You need to play with me. What are you doing?" And so if he attacks me,
so
that's what you
you can
see.
pay attention to
I
him and do that.
I no, I'm petting him right now, but that's not good enough. He wants me to go play the laser in the hallway, and
Oh.
like he wants to go play. Um, and
So
I have
what?
something else to share.
Yeah.
Uh, I got my iPad, and I've been looking for 3D modeling software that isn't crazy. Like, I know Blender's free, but Blender's also a pain in the butt, and it's overcomplicated, and it's not exactly. I just want something streamlined because all I want to do is make models to 3D print. And so I bought Nomad Sculpt, which was only $15, and that's been great, but it's really geared towards sculpting and not product design. Which I do product stuff because
So
I made these things in
so you
there.
mean it's good for you to make dragons with?
Yeah, yeah, it's very good for high poly stuff,
Okay.
but not necessarily at low poly. And so anyway, so I've somebody at a convention recommended uh Shaper 3D, and it's another kind of uh slim down 3D software that's geared towards production. So you can one of the things that Nomad Sculpt it might do this, but it's not native for it. Uh, is to build something with measurements. Nomad Sculpt is more like organic sculpting or whatever, and then you're gonna have to figure out the size of it later. Where Shaper 3D is like you could draw or you can make a circle, and the circle can be an exact measurement that you put in. So it is for product design. And they have a free version, and the free version lets you, I don't know if it's one or two projects or one or two files, but I'm gonna try it out. And then there's a paid version of it. It's $300 a year, so subscription based. I don't think I'd use it that much. I really only use the 3D software for like Nomad Sculpt and stuff when I need to edit models that I find or optimize stuff. Not just like I'm not sitting here modeling every day or whatever. So, but the free stuff sounds nice, so I'll give it a go.
I mean, I guess most people use free stuff. I mean, most individuals, not people that do it
Yeah.
as a living. But
Yeah, I
if
liked
the,
Nomad Sculpt because it was only $15 and that was it. You paid $15 and you got the whole software. Shaper 3D is you gotta pay $300 a year.
wow, yeah, that's a lot of money.
It is. And so I'm like, nah. I'll just stick with the free and whatever it limits. It said it limits like low poly or high poly stuff or like high quality stuff, but I don't need it to be super high quality. I just need it to be basic shapes.
No,
So that was my foray in learning stuff this week.
so did you? Oh, okay. So you just you didn't do R&D on actual printing. It's on tools to get to the 3D
Well, I
printing,
did
like the software.
I did print making costume pieces, and I had to print and resize them for magnets. Like I got magnets in them that got to hold the pieces together. So yeah, I did some of that
Oh,
yesterday and this week.
nice, nice.
Yep. No
Oh,
coding stuff. I talked about it last week, but I can only do so much.
well, listen to this. Here, let's kind of break away. AI will lead to many companies employing fewer people in the next 5 years. Staffing provider Adecco Group said on Friday in a new survey highlighting the upheaval AI will bring to the workplace.
Yeah.
It says some 41% of senior executives expect to have smaller workforces because of AI technology. They had a report that was based on a survey of executive of 2,000 large companies worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Generative AI, which can create text, photos, and videos in response to open ended prompts, has spurred both hope it could eliminate repetitive tasks and fear that it will make some jobs obsolete. The Adecco survey is one of the largest into the AI topic and follows a 2023 World Economic Forum study, which said 25% of companies expected AI to trigger job losses, while 50% expected the technology to create new roles.
Mhm. You
Um,
gotta adapt.
yes, I mean, creating new roles doesn't mean that you don't lose jobs. I mean, yeah, it makes new roles
Everything's
because it's
shifting.
something, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Actually,
that's,
I was talking to my dad about this the other day.
yeah.
Um, he's retired now, but 10 years ago, uh, he was he because we were talking about AI, and he was like, "Oh yeah, 10 years ago, my company was talking, it was experimenting with AI. That they had a company that came in that used AI to do data analysis or whatever."
Hmm.
And he said he was saying that it would take a team of people like 2 weeks to do whatever data stuff they had to do, where the program could do it in 5 days, just one program. And that he said that was 10 years ago. So he's like, I don't know, like it's probably leaps and bounds better now than it was 10 years ago. And I feel like that's a lot of it. Every industry goes through this period of technology making things more efficient. But you still need somebody to run the software. So that's where the jobs are moving. Somebody's got to run the AI.
Yeah, I mean, people were saying, "Oh no, no jobs are going to be lost." Oh no, that. I mean, jobs are going to be lost,
Of course they are. Yeah.
and new jobs are going to be created. So that's the adapt that you're
Yeah.
talking about. You need
You
to,
know, they keep saying loss, and I think that that's just a clickbait title to get people to like read articles. I don't think the jobs are being lost, like you said. The jobs are evolving. That's what's happening. Is is it's still gonna take people to do the stuff, but the responsibilities and uh the processes are changing dramatically. They're evolving into the 22nd century. And for people that don't want to evolve or adapt with it, then they're going to have to find a different career.
right?
And so it's like I the word loss is too clickbaity, I think it's more just evolving. And maybe that's a looking at a glass half full kind of perspective. I don't know.
I mean, we don't have enough data yet. I mean, this is still new, so we don't see the effects as a big picture. I don't think, not yet. It's going to take some time to see the big picture and say, okay, look, across the world, this is what happened, and this is definitely because of AI. We don't
Yeah.
have the data yet
And
to say
two,
that.
like uh, AI, so people aren't thinking about, they're thinking AI is a one all do all, but you need a lot of other stuff to support AI. Like you need servers, you need energy, you need just
A
like
lot
all
of
of
it,
you
yeah.
need a lot of logistics around AI to get it to function. And so it's not going to be like one or done. I mean, I'm just thinking about like when internet or servers, and I'm just pulling this out my butt, so correct me, but like when the cloud-based systems came online, and companies were switching to cloud-based instead of physical server stuff,
Hmm.
there was a lot of bumps in the road where these services, they have to support the cloud. They need, again, the energy, they need the space, the data, like all this stuff just to get it to go. So it's not like there's a switch and all of a sudden all this stuff's going to change over, and like 1 minute the data person is going to lose their job. uh, it's, again, it's evolving, and things can't just go from 0 to 100 miles an hour. Like they need the infrastructure to support the AI, like everything else in history, like support internet, support cloud-based services, like it's gonna happen quickly, I think, but the back end stuff, there's so much.
Yep. And it's doing as much as it can right now, uh, but it's straining. the infrastructure of every company.
Exactly. Because what's gonna
Yeah,
happen is like these AI startup companies are popping up all over the place,
right.
but they're getting weeded out very quickly because they can't keep up with they overpromise and underdeliver. And that's with anything that's new and innovative is that you get these people that try to start it up and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can promise to do this and I can promise to filter all this data." And then when the company's like, "Okay, well you need to filter all this data in a week," and it turns out that their machines crap out,
Hmm.
and it's like,
Yep. No, absolutely.
it's
And
just not a magic scary thing. It will happen, but you know, adapt people, adapt.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Paid ChatGPT users can now edit AI generated images using text prompts from within ChatGPT. In a demo shared on X, OpenAI showed off the new capability, using it to add bows to a poodle's ears in an image created by DALL-E. DALL-E will also begin letting people choose the aspect ratio of a desired image, as well as to add styles such as motion blur or solar punk. I don't understand any of that stuff. I'm sure you do.
Well, that's not unique. Midjourney, I use Midjourney, and Midjourney has always let you edit the aspect ratio. And the aspect are like the AI stuff, it automatically puts out a square ratio, so 1 to 1, which a lot of social media stuff is square ratio 1 to 1. But if you're using it for artwork, it's you usually want, 16:9, which is 1920
Yeah.
by 1080. Um, so that's not unique. AI can do that. The thing that is unique and gets me excited is the part where you could tell the AI to edit the image it already made, because I run into that all the time where it will output an image and it's not exactly what I want, but I want it to build off of what it made. Like if it made an image and it's a little bit too dark, I but I want to use all the rest of the image, just make it lighter. I would love to be able to be like, hey, can you just take this image that you made and make it lighter? Instead, what it will do is it will use what it made as a reference, and it won't be the exact same. It will just be like a completely different build, but lighter, if that makes sense. Uh, Also, those styles aren't unique either. So the way the AI imaging work stuff is it trains the software on a specific style. And so like anime is a big one, Japanese animation. It has a
Hmm.
very distinct style. And so they'll train the AI on the keyword anime. And so then when somebody is typing, do a drawing of an ocean scene, but in the style of anime, then it already has that knowledge of, oh, Japanese animation. This is the style I'm going to do it in. So that's not unique. Unless I'm misunderstanding like what
It's
you just
the
described.
the trick here is that you are going to be able to do it from within ChatGPT. That's what they're saying.
Well, yeah, that's the paid version. So the paid
Yeah.
version,
Yes.
where the paid version, I don't know,
Yeah.
instead of going to Dolly.com, which is the same company, and typing it in, you can now do it in ChatGPT, where ChatGPT is just a text prompt. So you can go to the text prompt and be like, "Hey, make me an image," and instead of having to go into a whole other website, you'll just do it in there. So that's fine. But again, the thing that is like gets my attention is the part of telling it to edit an image it just made, because right now AI is kind of like one and done. Like you tell it to do something, it does it, and it kind of remembers what it does, but if it's generating a completely new response, it doesn't necessarily reference what it just made. Like it doesn't remember that thing. So if it gets to the point where it can remember what it just did, then that's amazing.
Okay. All right. I don't know. It was a piece of news. So I mean, me not knowing what is going
No, it's
on.
good news. It's good news. It's fine.
And here's something else that has to do with AI. Google is considering charging for new premium features powered by generative artificial intelligence. in what would be the biggest ever shakeup of its search business. The proposed revamp to its cash cow search engine would mark the first time the company has put any of its core product behind a paywall and shows it is still grappling with a technology that threatens its advertising business almost a year and a half after ChatGPT. Google is looking at options, including adding certain AI powered search features to its premium subscription services, which already offer access to its new Gemini AI assistant in Gmail and Docs, according to three people with knowledge. Engineers are developing the technology needed to deploy the service, but executives have not yet made a final decision on whether or when to launch it. Google's additional search engine would remain free of charge, while ads would continue to appear alongside search results, even for subscribers. But charging would represent the first time that Google, which for many years offered free consumer services funded entirely by advertising, has made people pay for enhancements to its core search products.
That is
So,
such BS.
yeah, well,
Absolute BS.
like they say, it's a cash cow,
Well,
and they want to
no, here's the
manipulate
thing.
and
Here's the thing
monetize
that
it.
drives me crazy is
Uh,
that they have a product.
yeah,
The product is the search engine, and it's gotten so bloated and convoluted,
right.
their own thing that they did themselves to get people to pay for. And now they're like, oh, we have a solution. But in order to use our product better because we effed it up, you have to pay more. Like that's such BS. Okay, this is my understanding. You have the search bar, and the reason why Google has become such a pain in the butt is companies pay for them to be on the front page, to be in the first results. So they pay to get seen first. Well, what that has created an environment of not accurate information
Mhm.
of what the consumer wants. Like I could be Googling, I don't know, how to make dinner or whatever, and the first result isn't like a recipe thing. It might be my local restaurants because they pay an advertising fee to Google to pop up, and so then I have to filter through to find the recipe that I want or whatever, so it bogs down the searches. So now they're saying, yeah, businesses pay to see the results that are similar to what you want, but not exactly. And to get around all of this, we have AI, but you need to pay
Mhm.
so that you could get what you want. Oh, but by the way, you, the consumer, can pay to get better results, but the businesses still want to become first, and so we want to double dip into the money, and so now the businesses are going to pay to get into the AI search. It's like they're literally it's pointless. They're just doing what they're just reinventing their cash cow wheel, and it doesn't solve the customer's problem. Do you see what I like? You see
Yeah, no,
what?
I see what. Yeah,
It's just such BS, and
we'll
like
we'll have to wait and see.
unless I'm not understanding, I just like it's just and who pays? Like, is it where AI results are ignoring the paid advertising, and so they're actually going to website results that the consumer or the customer wants. And so Google's like, hey, if you're a business and you want to show up on the front page again, you're going to have to pay to be in AI searches. Or is it the other way around where the customer has to pay in order to see their searches better, which is a flaw in their services. If
Mhm.
a customer has to pay more to see what they want, it's just I don't know. I'm like this hurts my brain to think about. It just drives me crazy. I just
But that's what they do, and they get people to talk about what they're doing, and they mention their name and all that, and that's
Here's the
all.
thing. Google is signing their own downfall because if they go through with this and they don't think about it right, and it is what I'm thinking it is, there's other AI services uh, that will search Google for me
Right.
and power through the results a lot faster. So I don't have to use Google's paid service to do it. I can use ChatGPT, which is free. And, well, maybe not ChatGPT because it wouldn't have the latest information. But say I pay ChatGPT and then it can go and it can do it for me to look through Google. I'd rather be paying ChatGPT, which doesn't take um biased offers from other companies to filter through the search results than to pay Google, who is going to accept money from businesses so that your search results show up with the business and it's not accurate for what you want, if that makes sense.
It
Like,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
so I'm
'Cause
like,
that's
no,
what happens now.
I'm not gonna pay Google. No, because it's already a biased thing. I'm gonna
Yeah,
pay something else that is also an AI search engine that's not biased, and or from what I understand, it's not biased. It could be, who knows? But
I don't
and
think they are.
it's like, you see, like I just this is so stupid. It's so stupid.
Well,
Pass. I
time
don't even.
time will tell. I mean, they'll always be able to walk it back and say, "Oh, we're not gonna do that."
I mean, heck, look at Bing. Bing has AI and it's free.
Yep.
And the only reason why people don't, I mean, more people are going over to Bing. The only reason I don't use Bing is because I'm already used to Google.
Mhm.
But if it becomes bogged down with crap and they're forcing me to pay to use a service that they messed up themselves, then I'm jumping
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah, and that as time goes on, there's gonna be more and more providers of such.
Oh yeah,
Because
I
now
mean,
it's easy with AI. It's not like what Google had to do in the
yeah,
early days.
yeah, and not only that, but OpenAI is making ChatGPT more accessible,
Mhm.
and I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
even me, I just bought a couple weeks ago those AI classes for Python
Right.
where they teach you how to access the AI stuff and like train it and all that stuff. That's only going to get easier and easier. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and, they're not the o I mean, Google is not the only one that's is gonna make money from this. How many computers do you have at home
I only use one, but I've got two desktops and my work laptop.
with Windows 10?
Yeah, or 11 or whatever.
Well, Microsoft announced an extended support program for Windows 10 last year that would allow users to pay for continued security updates beyond the October 2025 end of support date. But they never
For
told you
Windows
how
10.
much it's going to cost. What?
Wait, so they're gonna ask customers to pay, but it's for old operating system, right?
It's to if you have a computer that you cannot upgrade to Windows 11
Okay.
and you want to keep on using it with Windows
Yeah.
10, they said you will have to pay for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they want to put their resources into the latest operating system, and in order for them to, they have to have a staff to update the old
Right.
operating systems, and
Right.
they have to pay the people to
Yeah.
do it. So if you want to keep using this old software, and they have to have this team, they have to hire extra to keep it
To
updated,
keep it
and you're
updated.
gonna pay for it. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That's reasonable.
But they never said how much.
They're probably testing the waters to see
So
how people are
last
gonna react.
week, here it is. Last week, the company unveiled the pricing structure for that program,
Yeah,
which starts at $61 per device.
is that per year? $61 a year?
Yeah. And doubles every year for 3 years
Doubles. Oh, you know what it is? It's a price incentive to get you to get a new
to
computer
get the new
and
computer.
get the
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
operating system. They're trying to uh force people to, there's like, okay, you can use our old system, that's fine, but it's going to cost you a lot of money, and so it's probably better for you to go and get a new one because you're going to be saving money in the long run.
Right. And remember, this is just so you can get security updates.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people that I know are still using a Windows 7 machine.
Yeah.
and using it fine. So you will be able, don't get scared. You will be able to continue using it, but you would have to get like an external antivirus from
Yeah.
some other. You will not have the actual security updates that Windows does today, that Microsoft does today. Now, uh, this is coming from Windows Central. Security updates on Windows are important as they keep you protected from the vulnerabilities that are discovered in the OS. True. Microsoft releases a security update for Windows 10 once a month, but that will stop when October 2025 rolls around. Users still on Windows 10 after that date will officially be cut off support unless you pay. The extended support program for Windows 10 will let users pay for 3 years of additional security updates. This is handy for businesses and enterprise customers who aren't yet ready to upgrade their fleet of employee laptops and computers to Windows 11. I mean, there are a lot of companies that have hundreds and thousands of computers that cannot be upgraded to 11.
Mm.
For the first time, Microsoft is also allowing individual users at home to join the extended support program, which will let anyone running Windows 10 pay for extended updates beyond October 2025 for 3 years. They always had it, like from Windows 7 and then Windows 8. They had for customers, for businesses, you could pay and get updates. I mean, even today, for some XP, you can pay. A lot of banks still using for
XP?
XP for their
Oh my
ATMs,
god.
and they get
People,
updates from Microsoft.
they gotta join the 21st
Well,
century. Spend the money. Like, Lord have mercy.
the price is 61 per device, but that price doubles every year for 3 years. That means the second year it will cost you 122 per device, and the third year it will cost you $244 per device.
So this is what I predict is
So,
gonna happen is the people so the people let's just think of the reason why people don't have Windows 11, but they have an older version of Windows.
right,
Probably because they don't want to spend the money to get a new computer for
correct.
whatever reason. So these people aren't gonna pay for Microsoft's continued service because that's a really high price point. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna forego Microsoft's update and they're gonna find a third party solution, or they're not going to have any security updates at all and they're just going to uh throw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
So these people really have, they have three choices, but really it's two choices. Either they go for a third party or they do without.
And I'll bet you that at that point, there's going to also be a lot of piracy.
Yeah.
There's people are going to find out ways around it if they wanted to, and they're going to do it just like piracy. And piracy thrives under this type of conditions, unfortunately.
Well, here's the thing. I If my bank is using Windows XP, I don't trust my bank. Like, what? You can't, you're making all this money and you're not upgrading.
Remember, this is because of how the ATM machines are built. It's not the XP that we're used to. It's all embedded.
Well, it
So
doesn't.
it
Whatever.
takes,
If those machines aren't even the manufacturer for whatever reason that it has to be XP, that's crazy. That nah.
well, I mean, it's not only that. When you upgrade to Windows 11, a lot of companies that use specialty software will have to update that software too because it will not run on Windows 11. There's a lot of business software that doesn't run under the next operating system. My billing program for Delta Force was written back during the XP days.
Hmm.
And when we went to Windows 7, it wouldn't run.
So what'd you do?
I tried to find out if the company still exists to upgrade it. They were not.
Yeah.
So even now with Windows 10, what you do is you go and you tell it to run in XP mode. That program will run in XP mode, even though it's on Windows 10.
So why haven't you switched softwares then?
Oh
If
boy,
the
that's
software's
no.
15 years old.
Because the software works great, used to it, it does what you want. It's an ISP program, and there aren't that many programs out there. And I looked at other ones, and they are so complicated. This is so simple, and it works, and it does what you want it to do. So I'm running it in Windows 10, and it only runs once a month for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Your your options or your reason for choosing the software is valid, 100% valid. However, it it's probably not going to work in another 15, 30 years, right?
Probably not. And I
And
don't know
so
that
what
I'll be working.
yeah, but your tolerance, so like your tolerance for putting up with inconvenience in order to use the software that you really like, it hasn't hit that cap yet. Like as soon as something becomes too much of a pain in the butt to use, then you're gonna make the jump and use something else.
Oh,
And
yeah. I mean,
and
but understand something. There is no inconvenience in using that software. I mean, I don't have to do anything special except double click on the icon.
no, I know, and for yours is fine because you can get a workaround with the
Yeah.
Windows 10 thing. And I'm thinking
Others,
the other
yes.
businesses is their tolerance for inconvenience or cost factor hasn't exceeded their use of the softwares.
Not yet,
So
like you
so
say.
with Microsoft's announcement, they're raising that or they're lowering the or maybe raising the tolerance level to where now it's going to be where people are going to have to make the change
Yes.
or they're going to have to compromise on security. And my bank, my ATMs better not compromise on security because
Oh, they
that is
don't. They don't.
irresponsible. I like whatever business decides to cheap out and not want to have to do this because it's a pain in the butt or whatever, they're going to be losing customers and they're going to have to really think about is it worth it. And
Didn't
I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about other
yeah.
businesses that for whatever reason they're still using computers that are 20 years old because they for financial reasons maybe they couldn't upgrade or they didn't want to or whatever. They didn't want to adapt. So
It's not the computers that are old, it's the operating system that's
no,
old.
I understand, but
Yeah.
they're under the same umbrella, right?
Yeah.
So somebody that doesn't want to buy or so somebody that has an old operating system, and I'm making some assumptions here. Somebody that has an old operating system that their computer doesn't operate Windows 11, and it's probably because they don't want to spend the money to get a new machine, right? Or they've already would have upgraded.
E
And
Either that or they know, and in this case, it was proven that their software is not gonna work with the
yeah,
operating system.
but that still plays into the same point
Yes.
of convenience factor. They don't want to go and use something else because they're used to whatever they've been using the past few years. So at the end of the day, they're going to have to adapt. You either adapt or
Sure.
you die.
To
And
when the time comes, yeah, everybody has to adapt and say, "That's it."
yeah,
No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, at this point, my main machine is a Windows 10, and I'm gonna use it until 2025, and at that point, we'll see what I'm gonna do. I may upgrade next week. I don't know.
or somebody will come out with a program that lets you run Windows 11 as XP or something.
No, that's not. No, I No, that's no problem. I mean, I have a Windows 11 machine, and I tried the software on it as a Windows XP, and it works.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's not what I'm worried about. I mean, I'm really, it's like just like what you say. You don't want to wait until it's too late to do the
Yeah.
update.
Yeah.
And I
I
do need to upgrade that dual Xeon machine that I have down there. And the point is to get a modern PC that has the ability to run Windows 11.
yeah. Yeah. I
Because
guess
for most individuals uh, don't need to worry about it because everything will run.
mhm.
It's only specialty software that gives you that kind of trouble.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess I don't want people to look at Microsoft as the bad guy because
no.
for raising for prices because it's really unrealistic to expect a service or a business to have the same or to support something that's 20 years old. Like like that's crazy.
Oh,
Or support or something that is 5 years old or 10 years old or whatever without uh having some extra sources or something. I don't know.
so here something you just said. I don't want people to look at Microsoft like they're the bad guys. Here's another story.
Uh-oh. They're gonna be bad guys.
In a scathing indictment of Microsoft corporate security and transparency, an administration appointed review board issued a report last Tuesday saying a cascade of errors by the tech giant let state backed Chinese cyber operators break into email accounts of senior U.S. officials, including Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo. The Cyber Safety Review Board, created in 2021 by executive order, describes shoddy cybersecurity practices, a lax corporate culture, and a lack of sincerity about the company's knowledge of the targeted breach, which affected multiple U.S. agencies that deal with China. They're talking about Microsoft here.
Yeah, but I've how did they get in? Because when it comes to security, especially with email, 9 times out of 10, it's phishing emails that people
Well,
click
the,
on, and then they have access to all their stuff.
well, there was apparently, I mean, when these people look, they look at other things too. Obviously, they can't do anything about somebody clicking on an email. Yeah. But it says it concluded that Microsoft's security culture was inadequate and requires an overhaul, giving the company's ubiquity and critical role in the global technology ecosystem. Microsoft products underpin essential services that support national security, the foundations of our economic and public health and safety. And Microsoft was never known for security. There are 1,000 times better than what they were. We talked about it last week.
I
But apparently, there are still holes in
here
there that they're not fixing.
I here's the thing though. Like after you reading that article, those are just broad statements. I want to know the facts.
Oh, well, they're
Like,
not giving you the facts yet.
well, because what? So this is what I heard. I heard here's a company that has a high level people in our country using it. It has security flaws. It doesn't specifically say, and I
No,
don't
no, no,
expect
no,
them.
no, no. You misunderstood. This is a government review board that's looking into Microsoft's security. It's not a company.
No,
It's a an administration the administration review board that was appointed to look at Microsoft, at the tech,
okay,
at their the way that they're doing business,
yeah,
and they decided they are not doing enough to protect the users.
Yeah. I guess
They don't
my
say why.
my
Yeah.
issue is I need context. I need
Yeah. Yeah.
because that is such a broad statement that so and one of the things you said was um something like training or knowledgeable about security. I when I worked for a super corporate corporation or whatever, every week we would have to do training videos
Mhm.
specifically for email hacking, quote unquote hacking. And it
Right.
wasn't hacking, it was phishing and stuff. And and it was our responsibility to get educated and to because things are gonna and we used Outlook, so
Yeah.
things are going to get through Outlook that shouldn't. It's not 100% uh sale security proof,
Mhm.
because the bad people update their technology as much as the good people, quote unquote good people, update their technology, so it's like a rat race of who can crack it first. And so these vague terms of Microsoft needs to up their security, I mean, that's always going to be true because that's just the nature of the game. Like the bad guys, they integrate AI into their hacking. Okay, well now the flip side has to integrate AI into their defense or whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say? So if government officials' emails were exposed or whatever, or they hacked in through the email and they use Outlook, I want to know. They don't have to get into specifics, so it's not a security breach. But like, was it because they clicked on something they shouldn't? Was it because a file was in an email that they downloaded and now they have a virus on their thing? Like it, they
No. No. That's I mean, there were a lot of situations with Microsoft Outlook, and that's not how it happens. What happens with Microsoft Outlook is Exchange. It's
so
the
somebody's
server.
inner.
It's the server,
Oh,
and they break into Exchange, and there's all the email
I
addresses
see.
there. It's not the user, it's more the administrator of that, but that's not always their fault. A lot of them are because Microsoft has a problem with it, and there are holes in it and back
Okay.
doors and all, and that's what it's not the individual user that it happened to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like somebody would break into Delta Force's mail server. They don't need to break into the user
Mm.
uh computer. They just need to break here and they get everything if it was an exchange.
Okay. Well, okay, that's the context I
Yeah,
was looking for.
yeah.
Because I was thinking of like the user, and I was like, well, how is Microsoft supposed to be
Well,
responsible
I
for
mean,
somebody clicking on a phishing email?
right, but the thing is, you're right that you cannot. It always takes education. Even when you're looking at something like uh, Exchange, the administrator, the system administrator, the people that administer and manage the system itself are educated. They need to be up on everything.
Mm.
But even if you're up on everything, if the software has potential holes in it, the bad guys will find them, and they do
Yeah.
find them.
Yeah.
Now, why doesn't Microsoft do what those bad guys do and keep looking for holes and plugging them?
Yeah.
That's one of the thing. I mean, it's easy to
Yeah. Yeah.
say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what it takes. I don't know what the I don't know if it's even possible.
Yeah.
But that's what the thing is with the users. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's switch here. Personal computing and console gaming revenue growth is expected to remain below pre-pandemic levels through 2026 as gamers record fewer hours of playtime, according to research firm Newzoo. The market is expected to grow 2.7% from 2023 to the end of 2026. That's not much. Below the 7.2% growth rate from 2015 to 2021, according to the report. Gamers have been recording fewer hours of play, with the average quarterly playtime falling 26% from 2021 to 2023. The trend is expected to continue this year due to weaker gaming release schedules, with playtime falling around 10% in January. Slower player growth rates will impact the industry's capacity to expand the pie via net organic growth. So, are you playing less?
Okay, I have a problem
Okay,
with these statistics. Again, context is key.
sure.
What happened between 2015 and 2021 that would get people to play a ton of video games indoors, isolated, away from sick people? COVID. COVID happened. All the other extra things out in the world shut
Yeah,
down. So
yeah.
like going to the
Well,
movies, like
that's
going
what.
to the store. And so those numbers of everybody playing video games is inflated because there literally was nothing else to do. We could, and I bet you too the statistic is the same for streaming services, where streaming services probably quadrupled because people had to stay indoors and they wanted to stay entertained, right? So
Yeah,
of course, now that we're out of the pandemic and things are opening back up, people are going to the movies, they're going to the parks, they're going to public spaces again, they're going to events, and therefore it's cutting into their game time. It's not that games are worse or whatever. It's because the circumstances surrounding playing video games has significantly changed.
changed, but it still says, and you'll agree that that gamers are not online as much as they were before.
Yeah, well, when's
So,
before?
but
Like
I'm
it,
asking you,
yeah.
as a gamer, are you playing less? Are you playing less than what you did when you were when we were at home?
I'm playing a lot less than I did during the pandemic, but it's not because of the games. It's because when I needed community and I needed human interaction, I had to do it digitally
Okay,
through, and a lot of it was through video games, like going in a Discord server and chatting with my friends, and then we play games, and that was our only human interaction because we could not physically be in the same room together. So those numbers are not indicative. It's one of those things where statistics is a funny thing. It's not correlation is not causation or whatever that saying is. Like it doesn't mean that the games are worse or that the industry is having this problem. It's because the circumstances surrounding the user for wanting to play video games has drastically changed.
changed. Yeah, and they
So
did, and they, I
I'm
mean, there's nobody will argue that.
yeah, it's just not again, it's one of those things where an article has kind of been clickbaity where they're like, "Oh no, it's the end of video games. People are playing less." And I'm like, "Duh," because people are going out and touching grass because they can.
Yeah, yeah. But it's interesting to see that. I mean, this is going to affect the way that PCs and hardware are being sold too,
Yeah, and well,
because
then
it
also
was.
too, look at the same time what was
Yep,
happening during
yep,
COVID
yep.
was Bitcoin crap. Like, I feel like if anything, the consumer has become so much more educated and smart about it that when all they have to do is play games or to use technology or whatever, then they're going to become educated about it, and they're gonna spend their time where they think it's worth it. I'm feeling sassy this morning. I'm coming after a lot of these articles.
Wait a second here. Jacob is saying that he gets a message that we are offline. I mean, we're still online. I'm monitoring it. Uh, Jacob, did it correct itself? Let's
It's
see.
because we're using Outlook. We
No, it's not
got
just
security
because.
breached.
Let's see.
The internet said, "We're
I
tired of
don't know. I
listening
mean,
to
he's
Katie
not.
talk."
I want to see what. That's interesting. No, there could be some other reasons, and that's the reason of bandwidth. But I don't see it happening here. I mean, I'm on Google Fiber on this machine. Oh no, this machine is on AT&T, so that's actually still be even worse. No, what happens is, so I have Google Fiber and I have AT&T Fiber. I have Google Fiber at 1 megabit and AT&T Fiber at 500.
We're on Twitch. I can see us on Twitch.
Yeah, I know. I see it on Twitch and I see it on Facebook and I see it on YouTube. So it seems like everything is okay. Um, the reason I do it, we talked about it, is for redundancy. If something goes down, I go with the other one.
Yeah.
The machine that streams it to YouTube and Twitch and Roku and all the others, and that's the machine that does the 24/7 reruns, is hooked to AT&T.
Mm.
And the machine that I'm doing the streaming to Facebook, and that the machine that is my main production machine, is on uh, Google Fiber. So if that machine, if Google Fiber goes down, the only place we are not online is on Facebook,
Yeah, because of the music thing.
right? And vice versa. If the AT&T goes down, then we're still on Facebook as far as
How long ago was Jacob saying? Question. Does it say?
I don't see it. Why? Did you see
Because,
something?
well, I'm on Twitch right now, and it says that we've only been streaming for 32 minutes. And I think we've been talking longer than
Yeah,
32
we've been
minutes.
talking a lot. We've been,
So I wonder if it went down and then came back up.
I don't know. But the thing now, so I never needed AT&T. I mean, I wanted to have redundancy, but I wasn't about to pay AT&T's fees for that. So
Yeah.
somebody made me aware of ACP, which was the Affordable Communication something that the government was giving low
Uh-huh.
income. I said, wait a second now. I'm
Wait
low
a
income.
minute.
What?
Wait. Is it for wait, did you just say you got internet government assistant internet? Maybe I can get government.
Say it again.
I have AT&T. Wait. Say describe that program you just talked about, the government
That
thing.
is for low income. I mean, they have a certain criteria, like 200 or 300% of poverty, whatever.
Uh,
And I said, now, wait a second. I'm on Social Security. So I
well,
called and I asked, and they said, well, send us your tax return. I did and say, yeah, you qualify.
wow.
I said, oh, wow, sure.
Wait,
So,
so
so it
so
was, so it was $35 a month
you pay $35 a month for internet?
for 500 for to AT&T.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still paying the 70 to Google Fiber.
Dang. That's nice.
So now ACP apparently is gone.
What?
The government is not renewing it.
They said low income people don't need
Well,
internet.
that's I mean they may do it, but I mean a notice went out that that's it. But AT&T was saying, so we have a plan that is similar.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
that's
I
nice.
got in touch with them and filled up the papers and all that. And they say, yeah, you qualify and you need to call the business office and talk to them and finish it. So, but in doing so and finishing it, I found out, okay, it's going to be $30 a month,
Mm.
but it tops at 100 megabits.
Oh my, that's nothing.
Well, I mean, it's nothing, but it's enough. A lot
Oh,
of,
is
I
it?
mean, and I remember Gal was talking about the fact that he had 100 megabits for a long time with Google Fiber until they made him change it. He said, and the truth is, right now, when you're
Wait,
watching it on Twitch and on Facebook, I mean, on Twitch and on YouTube and all that. It's coming out of that machine that is at 100 megabits.
Wait a minute. How can you get 100 megabits with Google Fiber? I thought they
That's what
only
it
just had
was.
to.
I know that's what it was in the beginning when he joined, and because of that, he was grandfathered. But at a certain point, they said, no, we can't do it anymore.
Huh.
So he upgraded.
Dang.
I
Man,
don't
that was
see,
like a roller coaster of emotions. You're like, this
well,
is an awesome government program that you can get
yeah,
cheaper internet. Awesome, cool. They don't do it anymore. Oh, okay.
yeah.
So-
So I mean, it's
and,
fine.
and then it's like, oh yeah, AT&T does it. They do it their own. Oh, cool, but it's really crappy. Oh, okay.
you're saying before you adapt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
So
just a
I
roller
figured,
coaster
you
of
know, no,
emotions.
I mean, if there's a problem, then I'll put both machines on Google Fiber, and then if Google Fiber goes down, all I have to do is just change
Wait,
something. It will take 1 minute, and both machines are going to be on AT&T.
I thought you had Spectrum and AT&T.
I don't have Spectrum. I dumped Spectrum as fast as I could.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, so you have
Yeah.
AT&T Google Fiber.
So that's I thought maybe that's the reason, but I'm monitoring it real tight, and I'm looking at the screen over there, and if it goes down, there is a big red button of stream, and when the bandwidth gets a little kind of weak, it turns yellow, and if it doesn't stream at all, it's
That's your oh shit button.
so it's fine. I haven't seen it doing, and I didn't think it would.
Yeah.
Because I yesterday with all the streaming that it's doing 24/7 and all that, and I was doing the speed check, and it was still 120. So I said, yeah, we're doing fine. So but Jacob is not answering, and I put it,
Maybe
and no, and I
maybe
put it actually in the chat. I mean, when that goes down, the chat still works.
maybe Jacob's internet went down. Maybe
That's what
that's
I'm thinking.
yeah.
So I don't know.
He's been taken out by the internet assassins.
The interesting thing is that I read yesterday while I was preparing for the show, the last leg of preparing,
Yeah.
uh, that the government now is reconsidering doing the ACP. So if they do, then I'm going to go back on that.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty sweet program. $35 a month for 500
Yep,
megabytes. That's pretty nice.
and it's a lot of a lot. And I told people, you know, around here, if you are on Social Security or you are, as long as, I mean, you have to go in, and it's been like a year since I've done it, or maybe 2 years. It's something like 200 or 300% of the poverty line level,
Uh-huh.
whatever. So it's not like you're not making any money. It's you're low.
Yeah.
It's like less than 20,000 a year, or so. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that they ask you, I mean, all they wanted is my return. How much
Mm,
is Amnon
yeah,
making, not
not
how much
not
is
Kathy.
Amnon and Kathy. Because I said,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but with my wife and all that. Said, no, no, it's only you.
Yeah, they were like,
And it's the
don't
same
tell us
thing
about
with
your wife.
AT&T. They wanted to know how much I'm making. So I send them, it's not the tax return, it's the
Well,
W2, the
it's not based
W2.
on household. It's based on individual.
Right.
That's nice.
So look into it. I mean, if you got AT&T and you're not, you're on Social Security, or you a student or whatever, hey, you can lower your uh
I'm gonna tell
fees.
my sister about that because I don't know what she has up in Maine, but her
Yeah,
income's
but she's
definitely
working and she's
no,
making
no,
money.
but she's a student. So
Yeah,
she's a
but
student full time and then she's working part time. She's not making I mean, she's probably below the poverty line or at the
Well,
whatever you just
then
said.
yeah, then yeah, she needs to look into it because that's not just here. That's all over the country.
Yeah, yeah. So she's a full-time student
Yeah,
and she has her own apartment. So
yeah. All right, back to here. I don't know. I'm worried about what's going on with
I don't know. Twitch says
Jacob, but he's not.
we've been up for 40 minutes, so we're fine.
Oh,
Jacob, if you can hear us, send us a sign.
obviously he.
I'll get the Ouija board out.
And OpenAI again. That you
Nice.
said that they're doing it is making its flagship conversational AI accessible to everyone,
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
people who haven't bothered making an account.
Dude,
It
it's smart.
it says it won't be quite the same experience, however, and of course, all your chats will still go into their training data unless
Yeah,
you
yeah.
opt out. Starting last week in a few markets and gradually rolling out to the rest of the world. Visiting chat.openai.com will no longer ask you to log in, though
Nice.
you can still if you want to. Instead, you'll be dropped right into conversation with ChatGPT, which will use the same model as logged in users.
I so it doesn't talk about this in the article unless I just interrupted you, but the advantage to having an account and logging in is
Uh
that
huh.
it stores your history. So when I go in there and I ask ChatGPT a question, it takes that conversation that we have and puts it to the side that I can access later, which is important for if we work through a problem together and I have to go back and review that problem instead of asking all those same questions to get there, I can revisit a previous conversation and pull it up, and also too I can continue that conversation from where we ended. I don't know if that can happen if you don't have an account. So
And
there's an advantage to having an account.
how long does it keep it?
I indefinitely, I think. I mean, let me look. I've got conversations on there from
Huh.
months ago. Let me see. Yeah, from 2023. Uh, my I go through and I clean it up. It doesn't have the exact date, but this is from at least last summer, so a year
Wow.
ago.
Yeah. So if and if you're using it a lot, I mean, there's no cap on how much.
I
Yeah,
mean, I see all these conversations that I've had. I mean, again,
interesting.
I go through and I delete ones that
Okay.
are just like questions that I'll ask because I'll ask a lot of like, "Hey, I heard this thing on the radio. Can you describe what it is or whatever?" Like
Hmm.
I use it instead of Google to like just learn something new. But then if I have to work through a problem, like a coding problem, I'll save those conversations because I want to go back and reference it.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, I don't know if having a free account or not having to log in if it will save it. My gut tells me no because that would mean that it would have to like save all of those cookies or cache data or whatever without it linking to somebody. And I don't know, maybe I don't know enough about websites.
I don't
Maybe it
know.
does do that.
I guess somebody needs to try it and see. So Apple is laying off more than 700 employees across the company, including its micro LED displays division and the recently shut down Apple Car project.
Hmm, that's not surprising.
Uh,
When you, it's like when you cut a product, the product teams get cut too.
yep, but at least they just laying him off. Look
Yeah.
what Best Buy.
Oh.
Best Buy is conducting mass layoffs of Geek Squad employees this week, which was last week, according to former employees who lost their jobs. Workers told 404 Media they were told by the company to stay at home Tuesday and to wait for a call from their bosses about whether they had been let go. Best Buy did not respond to a request for comment, so we don't know how many people lost their job. But a laid off worker we talked to said it's definitely company wide and bigger than the cuts last summer.
Yikes.
Yep,
I
it's a shame.
Yeah, my coworker used Geek Squad. He went to like an official computer repair person, and the person uh kind of screwed him over. So he went and got his computer, and he took it to Geek Squad, and they fixed the problem and
Mhm.
got it right back. So
I mean,
does good work.
they do perform a needed um,
Service.
service. I mean, yeah,
I wonder if companies have this tendency that when times are really good, they overhire, and then they know that things are gonna level out, and when they
I
do, they lay off.
I kind of doubt that Best Buy would do that. I mean, they hire locally, and if they don't have, I mean, they're not going to hire more people if they don't have more business coming in. I don't think they're going to make people work longer hours while hiring or something. I don't know,
Yeah,
but stay home and wait to hear.
yeah,
That's kind of
that's
mean.
that's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing though. I could be let go at home, or I can be let go at work. I'd rather be let go at home because then I'm gonna have a mental breakdown, and I'd rather just be home. And
uh, well,
yeah, but it is kind of like torture to be like, hey, we're having layoffs. And you don't know if you're safe or not. But I'd rather be at home than to be in the office when that happens.
um, and listen, another interesting. Following a successful pilot project, the northern German federal state of Schleswig-Holstein had decided to move from Microsoft Windows and Microsoft Office to Linux and LibreOffice and other free and open source software on the 30,000 PCs used in the local government.
Jeez.
This was reported on the homepage of the minister president. Independent, sustainable, secure. Schleswig Holstein will be the digital pioneer region and the first German state to introduce a digitally sovereign IT workplace in its state administration, with a cabinet decision to introduce the open source software LibreOffice as the standard office solution across the board. The
he
government,
said
huh?
he said raise my prices on
Well,
Windows 10. I'm gonna get rid of Windows.
no, they were thinking about it last year. I remember talking about it, but and they already had like following a successful pilot project. So
Yeah.
apparently they tried it and it works. Um, so they gave them the go ahead for the first step toward complete digital sovereignty in the state, with further steps to follow. And again, this is true. Linux is more secure than Windows. At this point, this is the same as Apple was more secure than Windows because it was a small uh, market and
Yep.
the bad guys didn't want to go after them.
Yeah, they want to go
With
for the big whales.
Linux on the other hand, it's more complicated to get into it. Um, you you have more control over the operating system because, from what I understand, uh, because you do all the little things behind. I mean, not everybody, and you have to be a system administrator, somebody who knows how to use Linux, Unix.
Yeah.
and do all these things. But once you do it, it's a lot better than Windows. Now,
Yeah.
it also doesn't have all the crap that Windows has on it. It
Yep.
cannot run all the craps that's out there that Windows users may be downloading and installing because their system administrator did not set up their computer to not allow them to install junk.
Mm.
And that's another problem. A good system administrator, even in Windows, you can do it. And, they make it so, hey, you cannot change anything. You cannot install, you cannot change settings. You're just a user.
Mhm.
And a lot of them don't do that. So this is why they went to that. And now they don't have to pay for it either.
Mhm. And people have to think about though is like, well, if Linux has all these advantages, why don't more people switch to it? And it's because it's so what is the word, like niche and not as popular as Apple or Windows, and so the talent pool is so small. So like like you were talking about the administrator, like per, the businesses have to find an IT specialist for Linux in order to run these machines, right?
Right.
I bet
Absolutely.
you only a fraction of the IT professionals are qualified for that position,
Correct.
and and so the position for it is highly competitive, and so it's not as simple as a company being like, oh, we're gonna get rid of Windows, we're gonna get rid of Macs, and we're gonna switch to Linux, because they have to think about, well, I know my neighbor Bob is a Linux specialist, but what if Bob retires? What if he goes to a different company because they offer something more? Who are you gonna
Hmm.
find to fill in that job?
True. True.
So there's a lot of risk involved with switching to Linux. But on the plus side, the more people that use Linux, the more that schools are going to teach it. And you need, when it comes to, I think with everything in life, when it comes to job opportunities and stuff, it's like you need to have motivation, you need to have a healthy ecosystem of new talent, middle talent, senior talent, and so that way you're always supporting these positions, like the Linux position and the Windows position, and that's why Windows is everywhere. It's, and not necessarily because it's the best software, but because it's the more reliable one as far as like the ecosystem. It's less risk for a business to go with Windows than it is for a business to
It's
go
not
with Linux.
less of a risk. It's if you want to be compatible.
Well, I'm not talking about risk like security risk. I'm talking about risk as like if a business is down for a whole day, that's awful, right? Like
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
losing out
absolutely.
on
Yeah.
revenue.
Yeah.
So if they don't have the right employees or the right software or whatever to support the Linux stuff, then they're gonna go with a competitor like Windows that is easier. And I'm not saying one is better over the other, but like it's hard. Like it's easy for people to say, "Oh, let's just switch to this because it's so much better." Like, yeah, but you have to think about how are you going to support it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it all. This is why they had to go through a what they called a pilot project.
Yeah, that was smart. That was very
Yeah,
smart.
and apparently, I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, I would say probably over a year, maybe even
And
that they
two,
were.
it's really smart to do that because if they do a pilot program, they're gonna see if they can actually support it. But then a year is a long time for them to let the news out into the school system. Be like, hey, we're the government. We're gonna have new government jobs open specifically for Linux. Teach these
Hmm.
students how to use Linux, and they'll get a job right out of school. And it gives these students a year to learn how to use the software, or whatever. So it's really smart because to just go from one day using one software to one day using the other, you better hope that the workforce has those skills.
Now, using is not going to be a problem
No, I meant
because
supporting the software
supporting is a
because
whole.
somebody
Yeah.
somebody has to support it. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody on the back end has to figure it out, and then
Uh,
also too, somebody on the front end has to train people on how to use it and
how?
like.
Yes. I mean, it. Thankfully, to use it, a lot of people, individuals, are using Linux at home now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's pretty much like Windows as far as the GUI, but
Yeah,
it
I used it
doesn't.
in school.
Yeah, so that's okay. But I mean, no, you're right. They're gonna have to find quite a few administrators to do that. That's not a one person
No, and
job,
that's why,
Yeah,
it was smart of them to take at least a
but
year, and in
that's but
fact,
that
it's probably gonna take a few years to fill out the workforce for
there
all of
there
the.
are there are people out there. Yeah, it's going to take a long time, and this is how it was in the beginning with Windows. You had a what did they call them? Microsoft engineers or something. I can't remember what the title was and the certification you would get in order to be able to support a Windows network.
Yeah.
Microsoft network engineer, something like that. And there a lot of people went for it, and there was the glut out. I mean, people couldn't find jobs because there was no need for that many.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, Jacob is not answering his texts either, so I don't know. I'm saying something happens there with the internet spectrum.
Yeah, screw spec.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll cut it short today since we talked
Yeah, it was a nice
enough.
day. Talking
Yeah.
about going outside and touching grass. I need to go outside and touch grass.
I did it right after it rained. I mean, the day, not right after it rained, the day after. So there was nothing in the air. But it's, again, the yellow stuff is still,
Yeah, I have a black car. It's
yeah,
been dark yellow most days.
yeah. But yeah, if it's growing, you need to go and cut it. I agree. All right, everybody. So we're gonna end up the show now, and hope that everybody that uh, Nick and Spence are okay and
They
adjusted.
abandoned us. They're hanging
Yeah.
out with Jacob.
Well, I'll find out what's happening with Jacob. I'll talk to him later. Anyway, we're still fine. I mean, is everybody that's in the chat? You see us? I'm hoping, or somebody would say something.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah. Alan, I mean, do you are you watching us? Yeah. John says I see you and everything. Yeah. So it's not us.
Yeah, I see us on
All right.
Computers 2K.
Okay, everybody. Um, Katie, thanks.
No problem.
It was great. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov and Yael. Um, oh, okay. John is saying you were only off for a minute. Oh, interesting. I didn't see it. Interesting. Okay. Um, Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner, and change any same passwords where you see them, where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And remember, Nick is at Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. He's on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily news and commentary show. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave. Or you can go later on to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And also, Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast weekly. That's about survival games, gaming news, and some political points on Twitch. Just go to infectionpodcast.com to find out when the live show is this week. They always alternate days. Or you can just go and download the podcast and listen to it yourself. Have a great week. We'll be back together next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.